Across the sands of time, long before the empires of Europe rose, before the world learned to measure greatness by conquest, Africa was already a continent of queens. Their names weren't carved in cold marble, but in living memory, whispered by the wines, sung by the rivers, and remembered in the stories that shaped entire civilizations. This is the tale of the African queens the world forgot. We begin in Egypt, the cradle of majesty. Behind the pharaoh's golden masks stood women who commanded nations. Meet Hatshepsut, the woman who became pharaoh. She ruled not through fear, but through vision. She built incredible trade networks stretching to the mysterious land of Punt and raised monuments that still defy time. In her reign, peace became power. She showed the world that leadership wasn't about gender, but about genius. Centuries later came Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt. History often taints her in scandal, but behind the myth was a brilliant intellect, a strategist fluent in 9 languages, a ruler who defied the mighty Roman Empire with her mind as her sharpest weapon. One a builder, the other a survivor. Both stood at the river's edge between power and legacy. Far from the Nile, the deserts gave way to savannas, and there rose a queen who rode with thunder. Amina of Zazzau, the lioness of what is now northern Nigeria. Her sword carved borders that later kingdoms would inherit. She expanded her realm through military brilliance and sheer force of will, proving that courage doesn't need a crown, but it certainly defines one. And in the southern lands of Angola, Queen Nzinga of Ndongo stood defiantly against the Portuguese invaders. A master diplomat and military leader, she negotiated treaties, led armies into battle, and built alliances that humbled colonizers who believed Africa would simply kneel. Two warriors, centuries apart, bound by the same fire that made the world remember their names in both fear and awe. Now, let's journey to ancient Nubia, where the blue Nile meets the white. Here, the title Kandak wasn't for one woman, but for a dynasty of warrior queens. They ruled the kingdom of Kush with iron wills and golden hearts, commanding armies so formidable they once repelled Rome itself. And to the east, in the highlands of Sheba, legend speaks of Makeda, the queen who journeyed to Jerusalem. Her wisdom moved kings, and her presence inspired centuries of devotion. These were not just women wearing crowns, they were the architects of kingdoms, the mothers of civilization's moral compass. While some queens lived in flesh and blood, others lived in myth, guarding the very soul of the continent. From Dahomey came tales of the Amazon warriors, women who fought like spirits in mortal form. In the southern rainforests, stories of the rain goddess speak of a woman who controlled fertility and storm alike, symbols of the delicate balance between destruction and renewal. Then, a great silence fell. The maps of Africa were redrawn by foreign hands, and the incredible stories of its queens were buried, dismissed in textbooks that called their vast kingdoms mere tribes. Statues were taken, languages were suppressed, and temples turned to dust. But a legacy like this cannot be erased, only delayed. The daughters of Africa carried this memory forward in melody, in the rhythm of the talking drum, and in the quiet courage of mothers who raised nations even while in chains. Today, the world is remembering again, through art, through film, through our own voices rediscovering our past. The African queen rises once more. Not as a myth, not as a mystery, but as undeniable proof that history was written in her image all along. She was the builder, the warrior, the mother, and the muse. She was Africa long before the world even knew her name. A new era of remembrance has begun. Thank you for joining us on this journey. This is Legaci Lens, stories that shape the way we think. If this story inspired you, click the like button, subscribe to Legaci Lens, and share your thoughts in the comments below.